If this goes on, don't panic. Bringing hope to the world through speculative fiction.
Hello everyone, it's me, Alan, and welcome to another If This Goes On, Don't Panic column. Today we have another Book Navigator column by Navarre Bartz. Just as a reminder, in this column, Navarre will be doing some in-depth reviews of solarpunk and hopepunk books a few times every year. As with all things, we shall see how it evolves, but for now, he'll be covering 1 or 2 books per review. Today, Navarre talks about Bioluminescent, a Lunarpunk Anthology. And before we start, here's Navarre's bio. Navarre Bartz is a recovering academic writing about the intersection of technology, society, and environment. Originally hailing from the hills of Missouri, he now lives in Virginia with his wife, child, and feline overlords. His work has previously appeared in the Sifwa blog, Optopia, and the Almanac for the Anthropocene, a compendium of solarpunk futures. You can find more of his musings at solarpunkstation.com or the Solarpunk Station YouTube channel. I hope you enjoy the column. Don't forget to let us know what you think on Twitter, Facebook, or Mastodon. Or leave us a review. Thanks.
Bioluminescent, edited by Justine Norton-Kertson, is the very first Lunarpunk anthology, and it's an awesome way to get introduced to this subgenre, which shares much of its DNA with solarpunk. Some of the themes explored in this anthology include fungi, outer space, the not just coexistence but symbiosis of science and magic, and a re-examination of the archetypical trope of the witch, more as a protector or guide for their community as opposed to some sort of source of evil lurking in the woods. Think more Granny Weatherwax than the Wicked Witch of the West. Stories are grouped thematically, with some, such as The Heart of the Land and The Exhalation, feeling like they were written in tandem to explore the same topic in conversation with each other. Some of the stories also address the ocean, either here on Earth or on other worlds, and its role in the climate. I feel like gives some of the stories a title punk bent in addition to their Lunarpunk credentials. I've always said that Lunarpunk and title punk are closely tied together given the moon's influence on the tides, so this made me happy. Lunarpunk's focus on the internal, but in the context of a person's role in their community, really comes through, and many of these stories focus on collaborative problem solving instead of the hero's journey savior trope that's so common in mainstream media. All the stories were wonderful, but I wanted to highlight just a few. Neptune's Dew has a strong theme of spiritual pluralism and ambiguity as to whether the spiritual is real or not, which I appreciate both in my own personal spiritual journey where I am right now, and also it's something we've been exploring myself and some guest contributors over at my blog right now, so it's something that's definitely been top of mind for me, and I feel like this story really encapsulated a lot of those thoughts. Another thematic pair that was about healing generational trauma, especially that inflicted by capitalism, was A Message from the Moonlight, which is not the only ghost story in the anthology, and The Memory Shop, which features musical song spells, which are somewhat of a mix of magic and science, which is a really cool concept for a magic system. The last is this group of 3 stories that I think are a really good example of how we can better understand and communicate with each other as humans by looking at how we try, or in these cases succeed, at communicating across cross-species divides. And that's When the Web Went Down, which features magic users who can talk to elements around us, either fungi or trees, or things of this nature. The Stranger's Voice, which involves a witch who can embody deities from different cultures and is going to attempt to embody an alien deity for the first time. More about that later, since this is Diane's story. And we have Always Loved, which is about explorers landing on a planet that has a sentient ocean. I feel like the poetry interspersed throughout the anthology really helps with the ethereal feel of Lunarpunk and thinking of things from a more feelings basis than scientific basis, if that makes any sense. At least for me, poetry is a lot more challenging to interact with because I'm a lot more comfortable with prose. So I think this really challenged me just a little bit to deal with the poetry and see how that made me feel and how it affected how I look at the world and how that interplayed with the stories around it. Listeners of If This Goes On, Don't Panic will be particularly interested in Diane's story about a space witch. I think it toes the line of making the goddess disappear in a puff of logic, but it does keep things somewhat ambivalent during her interactions with these sentient alien crabs and a translator bot, so I think the goddess is safe for now. This antho really came together beautifully, and shows that despite the challenges we face seeming insurmountable, as Justine says, together, with a community full of hope, it just might be possible. If you're looking for more Lunarpunk goodness, you should go check out the Solarpunk magazine issue number 6 about Lunarpunk, or Optopia's 5th issue, which they call their mushroom issue. Thanks, and I'll catch you in the next Book Navigator. Bye!